Hello, hello. I have to announce my stream. So 1 minute here. Hello, everybody. I have the mic on because I got some things I want to talk about. So let's see. First, we got to put up our announcement. Streaming Commander Muntz. So today we're doing Commander Munt's character. It's Fardan, the elf that thinks he is a dwarf. That's the best way I can describe this. Okay, send. And if my jaw starts acting up and like going into pain or whatever, then I'll turn off the microphone because I'm having another bout of TMJ, some kind of, mandibular jaw pain thing. It doesn't hurt right now, but it's been pretty bad since last night. Like, just flares up. And it's always when I'm sleeping. I guess I, like, grind my teeth or something. I think the stress from what happened in my server yesterday made it flare up. I don't know. I was probably really tense, so when I'm sleeping, I'm probably like clenching my jaw and I don't realize I'm doing it because that's how my body is dealing with stress. Um, Even though I don't feel super stressed, but yeah, I guess I do stuff when I'm sleeping. All right, let's see here. Offline. Oh, wait, no, streaming. Just making sure I'm on. Making sure I'm on. They definitely, like, what did they do? Change 0 views 2 minutes ago. Huh, did my stream stop? Is it not live? It says I'm streaming. Somebody type in the chat, let me know if I'm live, because I don't know for sure if I am. uh, Restream says I am. Let's see, go to channel. Okay, it refreshed. There we go. Yeah. I am definitely live. Okay. My RP partners just messaged me. You're drawing a what now? Like an elf that thinks he is a dwarf. Oh. Bordy just posted some food pictures in the Discord server that look absolutely amazing. Man, I never played up my stuff to look that good. Oh. Alrighty, so anyway, this is a commission for Commander Munt, who is one of my regulars that commissions me. And this is his character Fardan. And basically the story that I got is that he is an elf that was pretty much immersed in dwarven culture. I don't remember if he said he was actually raised by dwarves, but like he pretty much sees himself as a dwarf and he doesn't like elves. Like he has no connection to his own race. So yeah. So I am going to replicate this pose up here with the 3D model, because this is the pose that he wanted. Turn that a little bit. This foot goes more out to the side. I love the 3D models in Clip Studio. They are very, very handy. Let's see, this foot is... that only pivots that way, so I have to turn his hip here. Move it out. Turn the foot a little bit more. Move it down. There we go. Just wanted to get the legs, make it look like he's actually standing on the ground. Move that one in a little bit so it's more supportive. There we go. That looks about right for the lower half. Okay. I'm looking at who's watching. It looks like I have the Ko-fi stream bot. I see Bearmaw lurking. Hello. I need to turn on the space heater. It's freezing in here. Like, I'm trying to do this stuff and my hands are ice cubes. So, it was 8 below 0 last night, and the temperature high today is like 15 degrees, so it's pretty chilly. Okay, turn on the heater. Oh, the heater's not even plugged in. Ah. Would help if it was plugged in. He's a beautiful cat, Mama. I had to kiss the Bipple. Alright, I'm gonna close the door, keep the heat in here. Turn the heater on, there we go. Brr, I am very cold. Woo! Okay, I just gotta thaw my fingers out so I can actually, like, draw. Whew, winter, am I right? Okay, so now we gotta get the arms posed, and the head's turning this away. little bit up. Oh, somebody messaging me, and wow, I just got waved. I don't know who waved. That person right there. Nafi. Their last name is Hassan. I'm like, does that have anything to do with that streamer? Hopefully not. I don't know. Anyway, I got some music here. Copyright free hang drum. So yeah, last night was sure interesting. Oh my goodness. So I know there's not a lot of people in here watching right now, but you know, in case anybody watches the VOD, I went out last night to go see the Sonic 3 movie with Mike. And when I came back, my server was kind of exploding. I noticed like my general chat had a lot going on in there. And then I started also just getting like a flood of DMs, and I was just like, oh my god, what's going on? Oh, it's always the worst when that sort of thing happens, you know, because I don't have any moderators. So, like, if something crazy happens in my server, yeah, it's like, it's all on me to deal with. And, unfortunately, one of my members was kind of causing a commotion in the general chat, and when I read over the conversation, I was like a little bit kind of disappointed in what I was seeing by this particular person's behavior. And it was obviously very, just unacceptable and breaking my rules, and they were kind of causing, being argumentative and hostile towards other people. So I had to do the moderator thing, and since this person had like a history of acting out and causing drama and trouble in my server 3 previous times, all of which, they were forgiven, this was the one time where I'm like, all right, I need to take stronger action. So I kicked them out, and I very rarely ever kick or ban people in my server because I'm very, very forgiving and lenient, and I give people a lot of chances. But this was a situation where, I felt like this person absolutely needed to learn a lesson from their behavior and that there are consequences. So I opted to kick. And of course, the downside is that they then went into other servers and started telling people that I discriminate against a person with a learning disability, and they were using their mental health issues kind of as an excuse for poor behavior in my community. So, there comes a point where no matter what you got going on, if you have any self-awareness at all, you have to be able to hold yourself accountable if you're behaving poorly and causing a huge disturbance and, disrupting the peace. Like, that's not on me, that's on you and how you're behaving. And if you're gonna behave poorly, there's consequences. You don't get a free pass because you have some kind of, mental health disorders, Like, I'm sympathetic and I'm sorry that you have problems, but you still have to play by the rules in whatever community you're in. You have to be polite and respectful to people. You can't be starting arguments. And, you can't be hostile. You have to behave properly. It's just the social contract. Hello, hello! Kingma SNK3. I hope I said your name right. Uh-oh, it's a spammer. Oh, man. Shucks, here I thought I had a legitimate person. Well, sorry there, King Mazin K3. But yeah, you're getting banned. Bye-bye. Boom, gone. Yeah, that's me waving my ban hammer. Spammer followed me just so that they can promote their scammy stuff. Anyway, so yeah, long story short, I kicked this person out of my server. Then they went into other servers, basically trying to smear me and say that, you know, I'm like an ableist or something, that I discriminate against people with learning disabilities and kick them out. And amazingly, a lot of people came to my defense. They were very upset about this event, and they all took screenshots of what happened, and they went around in the different servers and they were defending me. And this person is now getting pretty much kicked out of a bunch of other servers for trying to smear me. So it's really a shame that it all kind of escalated like that, you know? Like, really, all this person had to do was just kind of, you know, apologize for their actions and behaviors, and not kind of go on this smear campaign rant thing trying to get everybody's pity for them. So it's kind of sad to see it went down like that, you know. But well. But I definitely want to thank everybody who came to my defense. Cuz you know, I don't like drama at all. Nobody does. And you know, I definitely rely on my reputation, you know, so I don't want people thinking that I'm somebody who discriminates against people who have, like, you know, autism, ADHD, bipolar disorder, etc., etc. Obviously, I don't. But I do have, you know, 270 some odd people in my server, so, like, I have to take care of the majority, and if there's one minority that's causing problems, regardless of what they got going on, you know, I have to do what's right for the community as a whole, and I can't just let one person run amok. So I did what I had to do. Now, I'm gonna assume this character has short elf ears, because it's like D&D. Kind of going by like Vox Machina. You know, not World of Warcrafty. I'm just doing a rough right here. So we gotta... But yeah, that's pretty much it. Had another little drama blip for the new year in my server. Gotta have at least one a year, right? I just didn't expect it to kind of spiral the way it had. Like, holy cow. Oh. But hey, at least I know now that if anybody ever tries to cancel me, I have like an army of people who are like gonna flock to my support, so that's nice. I'm glad that people, you know, like me. Like, people like me. I have a good reputation. I've worked very hard for the past 5 years to build up, you know, a good repertoire. with my community, so let's see. Now he's wearing this armor, so we got these like shoulder thingies. Kind of trying to imagine how this would move here. I think that would go up. Maybe that's up a little higher. So right now I'm just in the rough sketch phase of things, so this is going to be like a messy phase. I don't often stream this part of the process just because it's, you know, it's me working stuff out. I usually start my stream after I already have something that I'm ready to ink the line art to. But you know, sometimes it's nice to show people the whole process, the nitty-gritty. Now, I know his beard is also going to be covering a lot of this, so that's like a very big beard. Goes way, way up. It's not hair, though. It's made out of, like, yarn. So, let's see. It comes all the way down. There's, like, a big beard braid. Drawing the yarn is going to be challenging. Then there's a little beard braid. I'm just drawing squiggles right now. There we go. It looks crazy right now. And then, oh yeah, with the hairdo. So he's got some bangs. So it's like a handsome elf guy that wants to be a dwarf. There we go. Let's see, the hair has more braids coming down the side, so braidy, braidy, braid. I'm so glad I have a braid brush. Braid, braid, braidy, braid. There we go. Oh, also last night I had like a recurrence of that weird like jaw pain, unfortunately. Like I went through a whole lot of hoopla over that. Like I went to a dentist, an oral surgeon, oh my goodness. The doctor. Like nobody could really figure out what it was, but like the oral surgeon was the first one to be like, yo, maybe you're grinding your teeth at night and you don't have tooth problems, you have like a jaw muscle issue, and turns out he was right. So like when I saw the periodontist, he's like, yeah, you definitely have signs that you grind your teeth or clench your jaw in your sleep. So I was like, oh, that's lovely. So yeah, I was taking a nap yesterday before, you know, I was supposed to start my commission, and I woke up with the same horrible pain. Like the whole side of my head was just in agony. Like it feels like a toothache, but it's not coming from the teeth, you know? So it's just terrible, really. And today, like last night too, while I was trying to sleep, it's always when I'm sleeping because, like, I don't know what I'm doing in my sleep. I can't control it. But I wake up with really bad muscle spasms in my jaw. Like, oh man, just terrible. So that's fun. I'm dealing with that again. Oh, always something. Well, let's see here. This comes down. It's like scales. Interesting armor. It's definitely going to be a pain in the butt to draw this armor. Like this is. Oh wait, his beard's covering that part. Never mind. At least the beard is covering a good bit of it. So there's that. We can say, yeah. The beard is helping. And then he wants like a blacksmith thing coming out. I don't know if he wants it above it or under it. Yeah, I'm gonna assume under it. Because he's supposed to be like a blacksmith. But like he's also wearing armor, so. I'm not sure what kind of boots here. Yay! The Valkyr Queen is here! Hello, hello! Thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. Yeah, I had somebody pop in and follow me and immediately like, oh, I love your stream. Let me promote you on blah 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 de blah. So, yeah, that sort of thing. And then I know like they're not a legitimate person. They're just one of those spam bot people. Here, I'll like push it up the chat here so you can see. Oh, it's not there. Okay. I figured it would show up on my chat box on my screen, but it's not there. But yeah, they had 3 messages, but I guess they didn't make it on stream, which, you know, not a bad thing. It's just the whole promote your stream, la 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 la. Yep, well, I think Bearmaw is lurking, like, but yeah, nobody else is watching, so I've pretty much just been, like, talking to myself, which happens, you know. I was hoping more people would tune in today because I kind of wanted to talk about, you know, the thing that happened in my server. And I did talk about it to nobody. It'd be in the VOD. But it's like, I just kind of wanted to, you know, express my thoughts and words about everything. Just, like, actually talk about it. I also did not mention the person's name or pronouns at all on the stream. I was like being real vague. Cause like I'm not in the, you know, the business of like witch hunting or calling people out. But, you know, I definitely did want to talk about just what went down with, you know, being vague about it. But basically, I spoke about it and said, like, this person did such and such. Yeah, because I'm not like one of those people that, you know, I'm gonna come into my stream and just create more drama by, like, shitting on somebody. Especially since said person could potentially come in and watch the stream, and it's like, you know, I'm not in the business of calling people out. Like, everybody in my server already knows who it is anyway. But, yeah, so. So that was a fun wee bit of drama. And you know, the thing is, this stuff always happens when I'm not around. It's like, if I was home at the time and I saw what was happening, like, I would have, you know, shut it down before it ever got that far, because, you know, my server only has me as a moderator because it's a very small community, so I don't have any other moderators. And I know people have asked me, like, hey, if you ever need a moderator, I'd be happy to help. And I totally appreciate the offers and everything, but, like, you know, not much really happens in my server. I feel like if it gets a lot bigger, though, like, obviously if my community grows to thousands of people, then, you know, I'm definitely going to have to get some kind of moderators to help me, because it would be absolute chaos. I know it. Like, we had this one time, somebody's account got hacked, and it was like late at night. I was sleeping and I woke up and my server was like crazy. Like, this hacked account was posting nasty pictures of buttholes. I mean, like, real photographs of somebody like spreading their cheeks, like anus, brown starfish, asshole all over. Like, they were spamming it into like just about every single channel that they could. And I don't really have any bots other than like Carlbot, you know, so when people join my server, they read the rules, they click the thumbs up, they get the role. So I don't have any bots to like stop spam like that. So luckily Spooksy stepped up and like she installed some bots to help me clean it up. Yeah, I think, yeah, she installed Carlbot, and I think, you know, that helped. So, like, I had to go in and change some of the settings for spam, and like Spooksy and a couple people were helping me like clean up the chats and delete as many of the buttholes as we could. But unfortunately, the damage was done, because it's like by the time I woke up, so many poor people in my server were inundated with buttholes. It was funny, but it was like gross, you know? Like, I have a sense of humor about this kind of stuff. It's terrible, but it was funny. And the other thing about it too is like that is how like Rogue Cat and Dame Shalane Belford got to like get talking to each other and get to know each other. And they were joking about the butthole being like the eye of Sauron, you know? And they ended up recently meeting in real life, and now they're dating each other. Like, so, you know, something good came out of something nasty. So, like, I'm really happy for them. But that's one hell of a way to meet your boyfriend slash girlfriend, over like, you know, spam of an asshole in a Discord server. How'd you meet? We saw butthole together. Exactly. That's exactly how it happened. It was just amazing. And they said that they've had to actually explain it to people too, which is really funny. It's like, how do you explain this? But yeah, I'm really happy for them, and I think it's hilarious that they have such a funny story to tell for how they ended up getting together. So, good on them. Also, this sort is complicated, so like I'm tracing this bullshit. Cause I'm like trying to sketch it and I'm like, eh. When it comes to like weapons and armor and stuff, like forget it. Just bleh. Make this easier. Better than any dating app. Indeed. But yeah, that's like that whole spam thing was the first and only time that's ever happened. My server has been around for like 5 years now. I made it at like November 2020. So like the very end of 2020, I made my server. And I've only banned 10 people total. But one of the worst instances, and I know I've told this story on my stream so many times, but since you're new here, I'll tell you too. Here we go. So, back in the early days, my server had some channels that I don't have anymore because they just caused a lot of problems. So obviously, 2020, as you know, was an election year, and it was a really heated thing, and people in my server just could not shut up about politics, even though it's in the rules. Like, don't talk about politics, don't talk about religion, don't talk about, you know, any kind of hot button topics, because people are psychotic and super divided, and it's just gonna start fights and create drama and chaos. And my server is about art and video games and role players and, you know, happy, fun, creative times. It's not about red versus blue or culture wars or things like that. And I don't want it to be about that kind of stuff. I don't want it to be about what divides people, but I want my server to be about what unites us. And all of us are into geeky stuff. We all like World of Warcraft and role playing and artwork and writing and all this good stuff. So at that time, Mike, who is my fiance, might as well be husband, we've been together 10 years. He was my moderator in my server, and he suggested that because people kept trying to talk about, you know, what was going on with politics, like I said, they just couldn't shut up about it because of the election going on, that we kind of make a channel called Hot Button Topics, where it's like a go in at your own risk. You know, in this channel, you're free to talk about current events, like what's going on, but you have to be civil. And obviously that was a terrible idea because people can't be civil and they can't have, you know, adult conversation about current events without getting psychotic. So we had a situation where Blizzard came out with, you know, their, what is it, the Fairy Tales and Legends book. And there was this passage. Now, the book wasn't actually out yet, but people were getting passages that were kind of posted up about Chromie being trans. And now everybody knows that anytime you talk about transgender anything, it's a super duper heated topic and people just fly off the handle because people are either really conservative and they screech, you know, wow, woke, or people are really super far left liberal and they scream, wow, everybody's a transphobe, and it just gets super ugly. You know what I'm saying? So we had people in my server that were like obviously annoyed by, you know, Blizzard coming in and all of a sudden making a very established character in the lore be trans, and arguing that, like, you're a dragon, you're a magical creature, you can literally transform into anything you want, and like your gender and blah 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 doesn't matter. And they're doing this to check off boxes for woke DEI, you know, diversity, equity, inclusion, yada yada, because the company is getting super duper woked out, la da da da. And then there's the people who were like getting really pissed off, like, if you don't believe that Chromie is trans and you say anything bad about it at all, you're a transphobe and a bigot and a Nazi. And I mean, holy crap, it escalated. It escalated so freaking quick. So obviously I had to step in and I had to pull the moderation thing because, like, I can't have left and right people going at it and calling each other bigots, Nazis, transphobes, libtards, whatever, you know, it was getting bad. So I ultimately had to make the choice to ban the left-leaning people because they were the ones who were actually causing the trouble, believe it or not. It was the conservative right-wing people who were being reasonable. It was the left people who were being psychotic, far left activists in a bad way. The radical trans activists, I guess you could say. So, I ended up having to ban them, and then they subsequently went into World of Warcraft and put one of them anyway, named Sayori, who is on Wyrmrest Accord, female blood elf character. And yes, I am naming this person. They put in their TRP that, like, don't hire this artist. She's a transphobe and her server is harboring Nazis and far right extremists and Proud Boys and, you know, like, absolutely crazy stuff. Like, most of the people in my server are left leaning, are, you know, totally fine with LGBT, like, or not even left leaning, but like middle of the road, like just normal, average, everyday people. They're not like politically crazy one direction or the other, you know, like there is actually a middle ground. So yeah, I would say most of the people in my server definitely fall into like a normal middle ground. But yeah, so these people were trying to go into World of Warcraft and get people not to commission me, and then they immediately hired another artist to replace art commissions that I had done for them. And here's the kicker. I did a free sketch for Sayori. Like, literally, Sayori got art for me for free. Didn't even pay for it. And is going into WoW telling people not to commission me because I'm a transphobic bigot. And you know, the funny part is like, with this whole entire debate over Chromie, I never once gave my opinion about it. I stayed as far out of that and as neutral as I possibly could. But apparently, you know, with these extreme activists, you know what they say, silence is violence kind of thing. Like, if you don't speak up, then you obviously support the Nazis. You know, ridiculous stuff like that. So it's like you really can't win, whether you take a stand or a stance or a side, or you don't take a side. If you don't say anything at all, you're against them. And they're very quick to attack people. And funny thing is like, when this happened, I didn't know anything about trans stuff. I didn't know anything about non-binary. I didn't know anything about woke. I didn't know anything about pronouns or culture war. Like, I was a total infant to all of this stuff. Like, I had no idea about gender ideology. So I didn't really know why this became such a, like, you know, heated fight for people. But then I ended up, obviously, after this event, I ended up going down the rabbit hole real deep and, like, educating myself on all of these topics to, like, an excessive degree. So now, like, I fully understand, like, when people talk about any of this stuff, like, I know what they're talking about now. And, if you want to know, like, what my real opinion on all of this stuff is, like, I'll just say it right now. I do not like any side that is too far swinging in one direction. Like, I don't like people who are attacking other people, trying to cancel people, and being hostile and, you know, just aggressive. Like, I also believe that, like, you can believe whatever you want to believe as long as you don't force other people to believe your beliefs. And I've noticed with a lot of people on both sides that they get stuck in echo chambers, and they become very tribal, like tribalistic in their thinking, and they have a very us against them mentality. And I think this is a lot of why we have so much division today, why people are just very hateful. Like, people are losing friends and family literally over, like, who you voted for and whatnot. So for people to just turn on me in an instant and, try telling people, don't commission this artist, she's harboring transphobes and Nazis and right-wing extremists and all this stuff that's obviously not true. I mean, you've seen my server. The people in there are as chill as can be. And I don't really care if they're Republican or Democrat, or if they're communist, or if they're a super duper conservative Christian. I really don't care. Like, what walk of life you come from. I only care if you're a good person, if you're respectful to others, if you behave nicely in my community, if you know how to treat people with dignity, and don't be a jerk, Like, that's it. Like, I don't care what race, what ethnicity, what religion, what gender, what identity you have. I really don't care. Like, we're all human beings at the end of the day. And if you want to, function in society, you're going to have to be able to deal with people who have all kinds of viewpoints, all kinds of opinions. And some people are not going to think the way you do. They're not going to believe what you believe. And that's okay. We can all get along. It's totally possible to be friends and be nice and be respectful and kind to people who don't hold the same values that you do. But unfortunately, the people that got banned out of my server, they don't see things the way I do. So yeah, that was the very first time that I ever had any serious drama in my Discord server. And ever since then, we got rid of the Hot Button Topics channel. We no longer allow any discussion of politics and, culture war related stuff, because people lose their shit. So, yeah, we try to keep it, chill. Like, let's keep the service focused on artwork and video games and hobbies and stuff. Which, honestly, ever since we got rid of that channel and made those rules where people just keep that stuff out, there really haven't been very many problems. The only other issues we ever had was just, like I said, that one account that got hacked. And sometimes we have some people who just, for whatever reason, they just act up and they just get really rude to people. So they have to be taken out. And then, of course, we have what happened last night. So, it happens. It happens. Thank you so much for the follow, Leafa Star. I appreciate you. So, I don't know if you were already lurking or if you're just coming in, but I was basically just telling the story about, the history of my my Discord server and when we've had drama pop up. And like I said, there hasn't been too much, because I do my best to maintain a peaceful environment that welcomes all people from all walks of life. And I was basically saying how I'm fully a proponent for people of all walks of life, all different beliefs and backgrounds can absolutely get along and be friends and be chill with each other. We don't have to have, you know, red versus blue, liberal versus conservative, this and that and the other. You know, we're human beings. We're here because we like World of Warcraft. We like role playing. We like artwork. You know. I was lurking for a hard minute here. The drama last night was fun. The one and only time I decided to speak among my infinite amounts of Discord lurking. I really do appreciate though that you spoke up, cause like I totally get, you know, people from up north. You know, I'm from upstate New York, so obviously I've known winter my whole life. But I have a full understanding, like, from people that I know from the South, especially Mike, who, you know, my husband, he came from Southern California, and he even told me, like, you can't buy winter coats or scarves or hats or gloves or, you know, warm winter clothing in Southern California. Like, they just don't sell it there. And who is going to go out and pay, you know, lots of money for a coat that you might only need to wear once in, like, 20 years? Because these are places that typically just don't get cold, or at least they don't get cold enough where there's like ice and snow and, you know, whatnot. So, you know, I fully understand that down south they don't have like plow trucks, salt trucks. They don't have ways to, you know, clear the roads. And yeah, it's extremely dangerous for people to drive on icy or slushy roads. And, you know, people down south, they don't have snow tires. They don't, not to mention, they might not know how to drive in snow. Like, I've driven in blizzards, and I know, like, you just gotta go slow. Like, if you gotta go 10, 15 miles an hour and crawl your way down that road so that you don't lose traction, that's what you gotta do. But like somebody who's never driven in snow before, they're gonna be scared. They're not gonna know what to do. And yeah, just the way that whole chat went down, I was just surprised by like the lack of empathy, the lack of understanding, and the ignorance that kind of went down in that chat, honestly. And I wouldn't have kicked that person out of the server. Like, I literally would have just done the whole, like, I'm going to give you a stern warning and, you know, don't do it again and apologize kind of thing. But like you've probably seen in my Real Talk channel, I've had multiple issues with this person. And this was kind of like the last straw. Like, they were on really thin ice. Now, they hadn't acted up in over 5 months because they did leave the server of their own volition for a little bit after they had a falling out with an RP partner. And, you know, they were doing the whole passive aggressive thing. And then, you know, they came back and I made sure I got permission from their ex-RP partner. Like, are you okay with this person coming back in my server? And they're like, yeah, as long as they behave and they don't, you know, try and attack me or anything. So everybody was chill, you know, they agreed to behave, and it's been 5 months and there wasn't anything bad going on at all. Until yesterday. But I was always keeping my eye on this person because they had kind of a long record of stuff. And it's unfortunate that it had to go down this way. Like, I do not like kicking people. I don't like banning people. But, like, if you're going to behave poorly and you're going to antagonize people and you're going to, you know, start arguments with people and upset people like that and just very cavalier about how they spoke about people dying from freezing to death, like that really kind of struck me. I was like, that's incredibly cold and callous to say. Like, that was really the reason why I went as far as kicking and not just like DMing them and warning them. I was like, when I saw that part and then they try to brush it off as just sarcasm, and then they further went into saying, well, it's because I'm bipolar and I have ADHD and I sometimes don't know how I'm wording things. It's like, no, 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 no. Like you're making excuses now for extremely bad behavior and bad takes and bad opinions and upsetting people when they've already tried to disengage from the conversation, and she they just kept going. Yeah, I'm trying to be vague and not, go on the whole who was it, who did it, because obviously anybody in my server already knows, but for anybody else watching the stream, I'm trying not to witch hunt people and name names. But just their reaction and the way they handled the whole situation was incredibly poor and poor taste, and using mental health issues as an excuse and as a crutch for behaving really badly is just not an excuse at all. Like, you can have autism and bipolar disorder and ADHD and this, that, and the other, but like there comes a point where if you got like 4 or 5 different people all at once telling you that, you're behaving badly and your opinions are terrible, maybe, just maybe, there's something wrong with what you're saying. And you should probably stop, and you should probably apologize and like let it go. But it just kept going, and I knew when I saw, like, especially this person being rude to like people like Ordy and Blaze Spirit and you, Leaf. Like, you guys are so incredibly chill and kind, and Ordy and Blaze, they've been in my community since like the beginning. I've been around since 2020, and they've been in there a really long time. Good people, support my artwork. And to see the way this person was speaking to them, like just so incredibly rudely like that, was like, nah. Like literally making people cry. Like, you're making people cry and you're getting people really upset. And I have plenty of people in my server who are neurodivergent, and that whole conversation was absolutely upsetting people quite a bit. So I was like, yeah, this is definitely unacceptable. So I did what I did. I had to take action, and if this was the very first offense this person ever had, I probably wouldn't have kicked them, but I absolutely would have given them a talking to. But like I said, this was like the 4th offense that this person has had. So I kind of was like, 3 strikes, you're out. Well, this was like literally 4 strikes. Like, it's 4 strikes, you are absolutely out. Like, I'm sorry, but this is it. End of the road for you. And that's that. Let me read the chat here. They started complaining in another server, which is why I joined initially. Let's see. As it should be, unfortunately, was just a huge victim complex and outright refusing to be wrong about it. I don't need to be vague. We learn accountability in elementary school. It seemed like they didn't get it. What you did was the best and correct option for the situation. It was so out of line for the community you fostered. You did good. Thank you, guys. Yeah, honestly, I think the thing that just bothered me the most about all of it was knowing that they were going into other servers and they were doing this whole pity party thing. Like, the whole like, I'm the victim here. This person is discriminating against me for having a learning disability, and they kicked me out of the server. and like, oh, woe is me, I must be a bad person. Like, I can see that they were trying to get sympathy and trying to get people to be like, oh my gosh, what happened? Tell us all about it. Let us comfort you. Like, that was the impression I was getting when I was seeing what was being posted in those other servers. It was like, oh, it was just gross, really. Like, you're using, disability as a way to get people's sympathy and get people on your side, and also tear down an artist and try and convince people that, like, I'm a bad person because, like, I'm discriminating against you for having a learning disability, so that makes me like an ableist or something. I think that's the term they use for, people who are like racist but against people that have disabilities, ableist. I think it's kind of a silly sounding term personally, but like, you get what I mean. They're trying to paint me in like a really negative light, which obviously, given my line of work, it would very negatively impact my business, because I rely on people to commission me for artwork and watch my streams and join my community and everything. And if this person is going out there spreading lies about me that I'm discriminating against disabled folks, well, like, that's just not a good look at all. And that is where, everybody kind of came in full force to my defense. And I'm honestly I'm a little surprised, but I guess I shouldn't be, just how much people came to my defense over this. So I'm really, really grateful. Because even though this person didn't like outright mention my name in the servers that they were talking about me in, it's like, the fact that they're even bringing it up in public in other servers means that they're inviting people to DM them, right? Like, they're inviting a conversation about it, and that there's a high likelihood that they're gonna, tell people, oh, it's Amalthera, it's Emily. You know that artist on Wormrest Accord and Moonguard? Yeah, she's the one. She's discriminating against disabled people. It's like she kicked me out of her server because I couldn't word things properly. Like, that's exactly where that was going. And that is where, absolutely a line has to be drawn. Like, that is just totally unacceptable. It's really no different than the people who went into World of Warcraft and put into their TRP that, like, I run a transphobic, bigoted server full of Nazis. It's like the same kind of thing. You're trying to defame somebody and ruin their reputation, which is ultimately going to hurt their career, So that's what really got people pissed off, and everybody banded together to, put a stop to it. And now, as far as I understand, this person has been getting kicked out of other servers and other communities for this. So honestly, they did it to themselves. They made a mountain out of a molehill. So if they're getting kicked out of a whole bunch of servers because of talking smack about me, then they really don't have anybody else to blame but themselves, I have to say. But what was really gross is how they went into Zach Clay's server, into the general chat, too. Like, I literally just joined, Zach Clay's server. And, yeah. It looks like he deleted all the messages from the general chat, though. That's good. I mean, I have them all screenshotted in my server, but yeah, like, literally, this person just went in and started all this drama in another person's server. Like, that is just so icky and embarrassing. Oh. what they said in my DMs there. The screenshot. But yeah, I took screenshots from Zach Clay's server, and it's in my Real Talk channel. But I did tell him, I told Zach, like, you know, feel free to delete all of this stuff because, like, obviously he doesn't want his general chat flooded with, like, crazy drama that came from another server because, you know, Domark went in and posted, like, all the screenshots of the whole entire chat, and then I posted, like, an explanation of what was going on. And Zach's server is kind of, very, very chill, not a whole lot of people in there, so obviously that stuff was gonna stay in the general chat and not move along, and then people were gonna see it and be like, what's going on? So I did tell him, I'm like, feel free to go and delete all this, because I know I would. Like, if somebody came into my server with a bunch of drama because of, you know, some person, I'd be like, alright, once I get the context of it, you know, and I know what's going on, great, but I'm definitely gonna, like, delete this stuff because I don't wanna bring outside drama into my server. And I even have that in my rules too. I have a leave your baggage at the door rule, because you know, I have a lot of role players in my server, and there are a lot of people who just have beef. They got bad blood from, like, whatever, you know. They had a falling out with an RP partner. They come into my server, and lo and behold, that ex-RP partner happens to also be in my server. And I tell people, like, you're gonna be, you know, cordial in here. Like, I don't care what kind of drama and stuff you got going on in World of Warcraft or in other Discord servers. When you come into this server, you leave your baggage at the door. So, yeah. But Zach did personally message me, though, and, you know, he definitely saw that this person was behaving badly, and he totally agreed with all of us that it was kind of ridiculous that all of this went down, and he was glad that, you know, we provided context and that we explained what was happening and apologized for this person's behavior in his server. And I'm glad that he went and cleaned it all up and, you know, kept the peace of his own server, because he doesn't need that kind of nonsense in his community. Now, I don't know what other servers this person might be writing things into, but, you know, at this point, it's whatever. Like, it's out of my hands, you know. Oh, like, a lot of people know me. I'm a pretty well-known artist in the World of Warcraft community, so I'm just glad that people are not believing what's being said. So they're only getting a strike in one server I'm in, which is stupid. I mean, I can understand that, though, because it's like, if they didn't do anything bad in that server, then it's like, I get it. Like, I have a rule, too, another part of my rules, where it's like, I don't want people coming into my server witch hunting. Like, if somebody comes into my server and people tell me, yo, this person's done a lot of bad stuff, like, I'll definitely keep an eye on them. But, like, I'm not going to just outright ban them or whatever unless I know that they were doing something illegal, like trying to scam people or whatever. But if they just had some drama or something in another server, or they had it out with some other role players or whatever, and it has nothing to do with my server or my community, then, you know, I'm not going to take any kind of moderation action, because, like, at that point, it's not any of my business, you know? But if they're doing something that's obviously bad, like they're trying to, you know, tear down an artist, ruin somebody's reputation, cancel people, you know, if they're causing trouble in that way, then yeah, I don't want them in my community. And, you know, I will absolutely like take action and not allow people to come in who are known for doing stuff like that, especially if people provide proof. But, you know, it has to be something like actually serious. Because there's plenty of people who just have like llama drama, you know, going on in different servers and have, you know, role play out of character drama with people. And, you know, just because somebody comes into my server and you had beef with them and you don't like them, that doesn't mean that I'm going to ban them. Because, you know, like I said, if they're not causing trouble in my server, whatever drama and beef you have with them, you just gotta leave it at the door. It has nothing to do with my server or my community. But, like, obviously, if somebody's doing something illegal or really, really bad, I do ask people to, like, let me know, provide, you know, screenshots and receipts to prove it, and, you know, I will remove the person from my community. That's pretty much how I work it, because there's always going to be people that don't get along. That just is how it is, you know. Let's see. So they're only getting a strike in one server I'm in. I can too, however, they're future RP partners. It's not only one strike that is upsetting. One of my friend's RP partners are inviting them into that poly relationship thing. It's asking for trouble and it's stressing. Oh man. Well, okay. Here's something I can tell you. Don't. I know this is kind of like hot calling the kettle black, but this is coming from like 3 other people. So Nara, Rorica, and Orbs, okay? All 3 of these people were RP partners of this person. And all 3 of them had really bad falling outs with this person because of their behavior, because they got nasty, they got cruel. They've shown me screenshots of conversations. They've explained to me how their RP partnership crumbled over time because of this person's bad behavior. Just like the behavior they showed in my server yesterday. It was like that, like this corrosive, toxic, mean-spirited behavior. So while I'm not one to be like, you know, don't talk to this person, don't befriend this person, I can at least say RPing with this person is probably not a great idea. And after all the things people told me about their experiences with this person, there's been times where they've asked me, hey, do you want to RP with me? And I'm like, nope. I've made up any and every excuse to say, like, sorry, no, I don't want to RP with you. Because I just know it's not going to end well at all. So, like having seen the pattern in the person's behavior, I just know, like yeah, no, sorry. I'm going to hard pass. And yeah, I'm glad I did. Like, I will not take up any offers to RP with this person. But, you know, now they have me blocked, so it doesn't really matter. They're not going to be soliciting me for RP anymore. But, yeah, like, 3 really bad falling outs, treating all their RP partners really poorly is the common theme. And when 3 different people tell me essentially the same thing, that they're all being treated with cruelty, like the cruelty this person showed in general chat, then I definitely see that there's a behavioral pattern. And, you know, I know, like, with bipolar disorder, that meanness is absolutely a part of it, because I know somebody who's schizophrenic and bipolar, and their moods do swing like a pendulum. So, you know, I absolutely understand, yes, there is a component of this person's mental issues involved in their behavior. But again, that doesn't excuse the behavior, and it's not gonna get them any quality like RP partners or friendships or get them very far in communities of other people, because either way your behavior is going to get checked, you know, no matter what you got going on. Like, I'm sorry if this person has these behavioral health problems, but there's still going to be consequences to your actions and to the way you treat other people. And the fact that this person is always like in a very severe victim mentality and constantly says I didn't do anything wrong, that is really bad. The lack of self-awareness that this person has is doing more harm to them than good. The fact that they can't ever own up to their own behavior and actually be able to just apologize and humble themselves and see, like, yeah, I did screw up, I did something wrong. The fact that they have to blame their mental illnesses, or they have to blame other people, honestly, that's just really sad, you know. And it's manipulative. It's emotionally manipulative to other people to be playing the, you know, my mental illness card. Like, just admit, you know, while yes, maybe the mental illness played a part in the behavior, the fact of the matter is you still did something wrong, and you have to own up to your mistakes, and you have to make up for it. You have to apologize and, like, acknowledge that you fucked up. Because society as a whole is not going to cater to, like, horrendously bad or cruel behavior, no matter what you got going on upstairs. So yeah, there's that. Say, I'm super tempted to message those partners because none of my friends has so many problems at the moment and I'm worried about them. I'm bipolar as fuck, and yet I waited and listened before I did anything. You know, I was almost ready to pounce last night. I wish I had something going upstairs. I could rent out the space. I mean, you know, at least I have so many people in my community. Like, you're not the only one. But I have a lot of people that have all kinds of things, you know, like PTSD and autism and, you know, bipolar. And I don't know if I have any people that have schizophrenia or anything, but, like, you know, I have all kinds of people who are, you know, neurodivergent. And even they can admit, you know, if they did something wrong. Like, really, it's this denial that this person has that's just astounding. The I didn't do anything wrong. And in the whole general chat, the way they kept talking like I was gonna come to their defense, that also kind of struck me. They're like, sorry you had to see this chat, Amalthera, but you know that I'm right and that these guys are all, like, getting upset over nothing, right? Like, it was giving off that vibe. Like, you're gonna defend me against them, right? So I think they were just completely blindsided by the fact that I kicked them. Like, what? I'm the one who got punished? How can this be? Yeah, people. But yeah, I'm sure that her XRP partners, though, probably I don't know, they're probably done rehashing their traumas about, like, what they've had to deal with this person. So they probably wouldn't want to talk about it, you know, if you wanted to, like, actually message them. When they added you, I lost it because they really thought you'd be on their side. Yeah, that's what really astounded me. Honestly, this, like, just complete obliviousness, this lack of awareness that they're the one who's in the wrong, and thinking I'm gonna come to their defense when they're in my server being rude to people and honestly being very cavalier and cold about people that are dying in frigid winter temperatures down south when people have died. It's like saying, like, people who died in a hurricane, well, why do they live in a place where it's constantly flooding and there's constantly hurricanes? They're really stupid for like building houses in a flood zone or blah 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 blah. And it's like, that's not the point. Like, that's not a nice thing to say when there's human suffering and people are literally dying and losing their homes and losing everything. Like, people would be like, well, people in California are all rich and, they deserve to lose everything. Like, that's an absolutely cruel and heartless and horrible take, but I've been seeing so many, like, gross people saying stuff like this, like, who cares if these people had money or not? They literally lost their homes and people lost their lives. Like, when did we forget that people are human, you know? Like, everybody's always judging people based on how much money they have or like what their background is or their identity or this, that, and the other, their political views. Like, people forget they're human beings, first and foremost. We all bleed the same. So when I see people coming up with like really gross and cruel takes on human tragedy, it really strikes a chord with me. And the way this person was talking in my server about people in the South, and oh, they could just go on Amazon, just buy what you need on Amazon. It was like, wow, how incredibly just ignorant and thoughtless. And especially when it was brought up that, hey, what if there's people who are like in poverty and, they can't afford to just buy stuff on Amazon? And not to mention, by the time it gets there, if they could even get through on the icy roads, which probably they can't, it's already too late. Like, people are already freezing to death and people don't have space heaters and they don't have, winter stuff because they're in a place where, weather like this is extremely rare and it hardly ever happens. So it's like, obviously they're not going to invest in and spend money on this kind of stuff because it wouldn't make sense. It's like, why would you buy like a $60 to $100 thick winter coat if you're only going to pull it out once every 20 years in the event of ice or snow? Like, obviously that doesn't make sense. Like, if you live on a tropical island, you're not going to have a winter coat in your closet. So it was just an extreme amount of like ignorance in that whole conversation, and ignorance and entitlement and comparing people to their own situation. It's like, you can't be comparing people's situation to your situation. They're just totally different. Like, you coming from a northern state that has severe winter and where we have the infrastructure to handle it and we're used to, driving around in blizzards and stuff. Like, I'm never going to compare my situation to Florida because it's just completely different here. And I totally do empathize with people who are like struggling from like hurricanes and floods and fires and snow and ice storms. Like, a couple years ago when Texas had that huge freeze, I was honestly just shocked for all the people that had no power and like their pipes froze and they were, freezing to death, and it was just terrible. See, like, coming from a place where I come from up north, to see people be in that situation and not have what they need is really heartbreaking, honestly. Because we've had situations here where we've had ice storms and severe below zero temperatures, and people have lost power for weeks on end, and we face similar hardships. Like, we know what it's like. And we've had homeless people freeze to death. And that's why we have code blue shelters up here now. Because it's literally the law in New York that they have to shelter homeless people when the temperature goes to a certain low. Because you can't, like, just leave people out there to freeze to death and die, you know? Like, that's a humanitarian crisis, honestly. But, yeah, this person was just very cold. No pun intended, but they came off very cold-hearted. Because I get that they see it as a joke. Like, a lot of people see it as a joke. Like that Southern people freak out over an inch of snow and shut down everything. Like, if they get a dusting of snow, they have a snow day. They shut down all their businesses, all their schools. Like, yeah, people up north might look at that and think that's a little excessive because it's like, dude, we go to school when there's like a foot of snow on the ground, everything's covered in ice, but like, you don't understand. We come from very different worlds. We have winter stuff up here. We have multiple different types of heating systems in our homes. Whereas down in Florida, they might not have any heating systems. So, like, literally, if they have no power, they have no heat, they're literally freezing to death. And that's not something to make fun of or laugh at all. So, yeah. Just, yep. That was just a weird conversation yesterday. Let's see. I'm reading up the chat here. Could you DM me their names if they don't want to? I'll make sure that's fine to say no and tell me to go away. That's fine. I'm just worried about my friend there. Teacher, they're being mean to me and arguing against my very wrong stance. And like the just buy winter clothes, like we're all not struggling for money right now. See, I'm the only thing that was in my closet. Now it's empty. There are 7 inches in Pensacola, 7 inches of snow. We haven't had snow in Florida since 1899. Wow, you guys got 7 inches? That's insane for Florida. Can I have some snow? We can handle it up in Washington. Please take it. We don't need it. I didn't even know how much snow they got down south. Like 7 inches is wild. That's literally more snow than upstate New York has gotten all winter so far. Like, we've been getting like dustings, like usually 1.5, 2 inches here and there, like every couple of weeks or so. But we haven't gotten anything, you know, really to speak home about, I guess. Yeah, that's gotta be awful. I can't even imagine. Like, 7 inches of snow for you guys, that's pretty bad. I mean, obviously up here in New York, we got like the salt trucks and the plows. Like, they literally go throughout the storm too. Like, they make sure that the snow levels on the roads never get high, and they salt the roads so much that the salt just melts everything. So, like, at worst, the roads can be kind of slushy, but like, you can still drive. So people can still, you know, go about their day. They can go to a grocery store or whatever. Like, it doesn't ever get to where society shuts down here. Although people do get a little crazy, like they go to the grocery stores and basically buy out everything when they hear a storm is coming, because, you know, we're always like, is this going to be the big one? Are we going to get snowed in for a week and not be able to get out of the house, you know? But it's pretty rare that we have like super severe snowstorms like that anymore, because the climate has honestly shifted in a weird way, where down south you guys are getting way worse weather than we are. Like, you guys are getting worse winter weather than the north, which is pretty bad. And obviously you guys also have to deal with, you know, hurricanes and like tornadoes and fires, like all the warm climate places, you're getting really extreme, crazy bad weather. But the weather up here in the north has been really mild. Like, our spring and summer and even our winter is nothing like it used to be. When I was a kid, we used to have blizzards where we'd get like 3 to 4 feet of snow. And you'd open up your door and there would be like an impression of your door in the snow. And that was totally normal. I loved it, honestly, because like as a kid, you know, you want to go out there and you want to jump in it and just disappear in it. Build snow forts and go sledding and make snowmen, and you come in and you're all like, you're freezing cold and you're soaked to the bone, but boy, you had a blast. Like, that's what snow was like for, you know, people up here back in the day when we used to have snow. Now we've had a lot of years where like we don't even get a white Christmas up here. And believe me, that really bums people out. Like northern people, if we don't get snow for Christmas, then it's like something's really wrong. Like, we love our white Christmas up here. Let's see here. By the way, I'm just kind of making up this character's outfit as I go. I wanted Christmas this year. Or snow. That's okay, no worries. Chumpette late to the party. I just saw her in real talk. She was like, what the ever living fuck did I miss? Oh my god, that was funny. Oh my god, dude. Woo. Everything. Oh god, I need a sip of coffee. Ah, yeah. So yeah, anyway, I'm just like making up this guy's outfit as I go. Like, I don't really know what I'm doing. Cuz Commander Munt, my client who hires me for all this like D&D stuff, he always gives me a lot of like free reign on the character designs. So, like, he gives me a bunch of reference pictures and then just kind of has me do whatever I want. So, like, I'm trying to combine like leather with like little bits of plate because the character's a blacksmith. So I'm like trying to design the boots right now, but I'm not like married to whatever it is I'm sketching at the moment. I'm just, you know, I'm trying to kind of take ideas. So I'm like looking at some of the reference pictures he sent. Like, I like the little platey things on this guy's boots, and then I also like the leather paneling on the other guy's boots that has like the dwarven kind of Celtic knot stuff going on. So I think I'm gonna like do a little mix. Maybe give him some like knee pads or something too. So yeah, I'm just kind of messing around with the design, working my way through it. Like, I got the bow, I got the sword, and I got the idea for the belt, although I do need to like crisp up the actual details in the belt. And the armor, which is a lot of scales, that's gonna be kind of difficult to draw. Not difficult, but tedious. Gonna be tedious. So, anyway, let's give him some knee pad things. Good luck to you. Thank you. And thank you guys for, watching my stream and listening to me prattle on and on. A lot of times when I'm streaming, I often just don't have the microphone on because I'm literally just vibing with music and just drawing. But now and again, when I have something actually happen and, I have something to talk about, then I'm like, all right, let's put the mic on and let's talk. Oh, and as for giving you the names of the people, like, I'm pretty sure they're not gonna want to rehash, what they've been through with Pars. So, oops, I name dropped. Oh no. At least I didn't name drop until like an hour and 36 minutes into the video. So, burp. Like, all I can tell you from what was told to me is that it was just very toxic behavior, like very cruel behavior. So, no witch hunting. So, like, basically 3 different people have essentially told me that this person behaved very poorly towards them, and that, like, usually the role playing starts out really good, and then over time it starts to kind of get boring, and then the person just treats them very nasty. Like, basically what you saw in general chat, but like, imagine that kind of aggressive attitude aimed at this person's RP partners, where it's like very passive aggressive, very snippy, a little bit of like cruelness to it, and it comes like out of nowhere, so it's like that kind of behavior really drove everybody away from this person. And the thing that happened with all 3 of them is once those RPs came crashing and burning and came to an end, and everybody like simultaneously decided like, yo, you're kind of toxic and I don't want to associate with you, this person would come into my server and probably other servers and just the same thing that they did with me, passive aggressively play the victim and change their Discord status, and then write stuff in the servers about how everybody is wronging them and everybody is mistreating them and they're the victim, yada yada kind of thing. So this is kind of the trend with this person, unfortunately. Like I said, this is not the first time I have witnessed this kind of behavior. And I have had to warn this person multiple times, like, you leave your drama at the door. You don't come into my server being passive aggressive and like leaving snide remarks. And the other thing that they would do is like, people would post their art, the XRP partners would post art, and then they would immediately post art afterwards and like try and basically cover up their stuff, like bury it. And they would do that in chats too, like post in the chats and try to bury their chats, like subtle little petty behavior like that. And then I would have people come to me and you know, be like, yo, this, I notice every time I post my art or I say something that the XRP partner rears their ugly head and is burying my posts in your server, and I feel like they're doing it on purpose. I've had all three of these people come to me and complain about this. So, like I said, I've dealt with stuff with this person for a while now, and they were on my shit list. Essentially, it was like, if you do one more thing wrong, you're gone. So, yeah. Oh yeah, that's something that this person did, absolutely. And the worst part is this person's artwork is literally just poorly traced AI art. And again, I don't want to shit on anybody, but like, it was very obviously poorly traced AI art. And they would like literally post this stuff in my server to bump their XRP partners' artwork that they actually drew, not traced. Oh yeah, if you look up their name and in the members art channel, you'll see a lot of very poorly traced AI art. And everybody knew that this was AI art. And the worst thing was they were offering commissions too. So I gotta go pick up Mike from work. Yes, it was the same person. Yeah, I totally forgot to mention that they were doing commissions for people of poorly traced AI art. Like, they were generating chibis in Bing AI, and then they were just tracing it. And I think they were doing it on their phone, like using their finger or something, because I don't even know if this person has a tablet. It was not good at all. So, yeah. Yeah. And you know, I did do one art lesson with this person. Like, they paid me $30 a couple years back to do one private art lesson, and you know, they were showing me their artwork, and I knew right away, like, this is just traced stuff. Like, this person doesn't actually try to draw. So, but it was just the fact that they were charging people money to like sell them traced AI art. It was not good. So yeah, there were a lot of reasons why I had my eyes on this person, but you know, I wasn't gonna completely go after them over the traced AI art, because like, they at least they didn't just generate an AI and then charge somebody for it and just give them the AI image. They actually did draw over it and gave it their own touch, which it didn't look good at all. It looked not great. But like, they had to put some effort into it, so I wasn't gonna say anything about it, you know. I mean, it was pretty obvious, but you know, like, you know, I use AI art for reference too now and again. Like, I'll generate images if I want to get ideas for outfits and designs and stuff, but like, to outright just trace it and then pass it off as like, look what I drew, is not good. But anyway, yeah, that's a whole other thing. But yeah, tracing AI art, trying to sell it, treating their RP partners poorly, and then, you know, what you guys witnessed last night. So, and then there was also the very first time I met this person, they stole some actual artist's work and used it in their TRP as a face claim for their characters. And the artist on Twitter told them, you know, I don't want you using my work. Like, obviously, these are my characters. You can't use them. Like, please take this down out of your TRP. And this person is like, what? It's just for a face claim and a TRP. Like, it's not a big deal. Like, tried to justify their behavior. And So then 2 people came into my server literally witch hunting them. And I had to step in and be the middleman and be like, look, what you did was wrong. Like, you can't just take an artist's artwork and use it and think that, you know, that's okay, especially if the artist has actually told you they don't want you using their art. All right? Like, that's not cool. So you take their art down, and then you 2 people who are coming in here witch hunting, you chill the fuck out because, you know, you leave your drama at the door. That's part of the rules of my server. Like, I don't want people having fights in my server for stuff that's happening on Twitter, okay? So I literally had to come in and play the middleman and, like, tell everybody to chill the fuck out. And thankfully it worked. So she took down the art, and the other people laid down their swords, and finally peace was had. And that was the first time I ever had an experience with this person. And then after that, it was the falling out with Nara. And that was the second time there was drama because they were posting stuff in the memes channel that was obviously aimed towards Nara, like passive aggressive, angry stuff. And Nara, at the time, I didn't really know Nara too well. I just knew she was like a really good artist. And she was like messaging me being like, hey, you know, I think I'm gonna leave your server because my XRP partner is like obviously posting shit that's about me. Like, we had a really ugly breakup, you know, for RRP, and she's clearly on the warpath posting things. Like, not directly saying my name, but I know that the stuff she's posting is about me. So I had to, again, privately message this person and be like, yo, this isn't cool. It's gotta stop. You're making people in my server feel unwelcome and uncomfortable. You're making people leave my server because you're kind of being passively aggressive and hostile, and it's not good. So, like, knock it the fuck off. And then it happened again. Like, she had the same falling out with Rorica and Orbs, 2 other RP partners. And again, I warned her, I'm like, don't you even dare, because obviously these people are all in my server. They share their artwork and stuff in my server. And lo and behold, the day that the fallout happened, she changes her Discord about to stuff that's clearly targeting them. And she posts some passive aggressive shit in my server that again is clearly targeting them. And I had to once again message her and be like, yo, what did I tell you? This is not acceptable behavior. Like, whatever happened between you and your RP partners, you keep that shit out of my server. You know, you behave, you be cordial, you be respectful. So, like I said, before what happened yesterday happened, there was already a long list of things with this person. So, now you guys know, you know the whole story, the whole picture. Mike is at the gas station now. He just left the post office. I have to go pick him up. So I'm going to put the stream into intermission, and I will be back because I have to keep working on the sketches. Yeah, we only have 1 car, and Mike doesn't have his driver's license yet, so he's going to be working on getting the license next month. Better late than never. But anyway, there you go. Chumpet. That was a long time ago, a few years ago. Gross behavior. Mom, come pick me up. So yeah, I will be back in a little bit. So you guys hang tight. And thanks for listening to my long rant. And again, I tried to not, you know, say who the person was and be super vague, but everybody here knows. So, yeah. No, no, we don't do that. I don't even know how to do that. I wouldn't. No doxing, no swatting, no witch hunting. Like, we're not gonna take it to that extreme. Anywho, my friends, I will be back. I might just stop the stream though, because like with the traffic and everything, it might take like a half hour, 40 minutes. So I'll probably be back at like 6:30, 6:40, something like that. Alright, so yeah, I will be back, guys. And I will let you guys know when I'm back streaming. So see y'all in a little bit. Ciao for now. Bye bye.